Welcome to the closing beat, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hey, this is our quick stock market update show that we do. We're financial advisors here at Jazz Wealth. This is the new studio, by the way. If you're one of our customers, we got a class tonight. We're going to cover analysts, where they all stand, what's going on with analysts, how many analysts cover all the different areas of the market, what does it mean, what are they thinking right now, and maybe cover a few stocks as well. Also, that's a time where our customers get to ask questions about anything. We're able to cover more in detail there without the sort of regulatory concerns that we have here. So we'll cover the stock markets. You're able to see all of the information on your screen there tonight. We're a teaching firm, by the way. We like to teach our customers as we go. It may not always be something that you're interested in. It may be something maybe a little over your head or too basic for you, but we try to cover everything. And one of the things we're working on is a beginner series, right? If you're brand new and you're like, I don't know, man, I don't know how this all works, we're going to do a beginner series where we just start with the very basics and ramp you up little by little as you go. So working on that now, always doing something around here, but let's get started. All right, the markets, the Dow higher by 91 points today. Let's call it 100 points. The S&P 500 up 10 points. Notice how we're connected again. Today's rally more broad-based. You can look at those two things and tell right away that the markets had a nice sort of consistent move today where everybody was basically on the same page. Not the case yesterday, right? We pointed out why there was a difference there and the kind of issues that you might be having market-wise. So you're able to kind of dig into that. Well, really the excitement going forward is Lyft. Right? So Lyft going public tomorrow, pricing 70 to 72. They may have already updated that as of now, so I may be a little bit behind on it. But very, very exciting tomorrow as far as Lyft goes. Now, I did a video when they first announced this thing going over all the details of it. Just look back on our channel or search on our channel, LYFT. You should be able to find it there. And so we'll see how that goes. Of course, we'll cover it tomorrow. Excited to cover it there for you. And also, tomorrow's the end of the quarter. So end of the first quarter, what does that mean, right? Going forward, what do we expect here? Number one, we'll cover some of the stats here for you. Also, next week, our class for customers is our monthly portfolio update, as well as what to expect. We'll go through all the geeky details as we've done each month here to show you what to expect, when to sit back, when you can kind of check out for a while, maybe not need to follow up so much, and when you need to be in tune with what's going on. So we'll cover all that next week as well. And tomorrow I'll give you a taste of some of that here on the live show. All right, stock markets. Let's take a look here. So if you look at the overall markets today, you got the S&P 500 marking time. This is like the week of the dojis. Do you know what dojis are? It's a candlestick reference, and these are the candlesticks here. By the way, in our video library, if you're interested, you can see it on the screen. This is the tension. You happen to want to go into the dojo, you can actually see the candlesticks classes. So sorry about the connection issue there. I don't know what's going on, but candlesticks classes inside the dojo. So you can actually research them and check those things out. Meanwhile, we'll go back to the markets, talk about the S&P 500. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It should be good now. Yeah, it looks good to me. I don't know. Something. You know, YouTube's been kind of funny lately. They won't let me put thumbnails up. It's been kind of a pain in the butt there. So that's kind of working its way. I think they're making changes there. But anyways, so we've got the S&P Doji Day, right? So we pointed out here on the charts, you have got 3 different dojis on the charts. As I was referring to the candlesticks class there, that just represents days where the open and the close were very close together. So no real action. I always say when you see one of those, you tell the markets, I need more information. I can't commit anything to you right now because I need more information. You're not telling me that there's a large amount of buyers, and you're not telling me if there's a large amount of sellers. So what happened last Friday, Thursday and Friday? We had a big reversal here. And the markets tend to sell off with that sort of thing. We talked about this 2 days ago and yesterday as well, that it tried to move higher, couldn't get anything done, and started selling off. Basically, we've moved inside of a range with no real progress as far as this week. So kind of going to be a big Friday if you ask me. I mean, this today, based on all the trade news and everything, yeah, it's sort of exciting, but tomorrow I think could really sort of move the markets one way or the other to finish out the week and finish out the quarter. So, of course, we'll cover that. If you're following along, the news today really was just China. China trade news coming back that they're going to consider opening up the cloud system to the other companies here around the States and people all around the world, actually. So the markets had a little bit more to grab onto, a little bit more bullishness that they could kind of hang their hat on and say, well, look, I don't want to be bearish when a trade deal is announced. And that could be what's happening with the markets right now. If you're paying close attention, it could be that the markets are just not willing to sell off aggressively because you don't want to be shorting the market or be in a bearish position when the trade deal's announced. It comes out better than expected. Everything's exciting. And then now all of a sudden you get ripped to the upside there. So traders are mostly just content to sit and wait so long as there's not a lot of movement one way or the other. All right, also, if we go over to the charts, got yields stabilizing here a little bit. I'll just use the TBT, or TLT. It's not the best representation of this, but yields have been moving lower all week long, really, since the Fed did their thing. So yields been moving lower. It's hurt the financials. It's helped a couple of the interest rate sensitive areas. Well, today that calmed down a little bit. Rates basically held tight. And so it left a little breathing room for other areas of the market to kind of get up and go. One of them being the Russell 2000. So the Russell 2000 outperformed by twice as much. You can see it up here at the top. It beat all the indices by more than twice, right? These are your small cap stocks. They're still large companies, but smaller than the other indices themselves. And so the Russell notably outperforming. However, if you're in the dojo, this little secret arrow over here we put for you, you could draw on the charts if you like. And one of the things that you notice real quick, you don't even have to draw to see it. You see a very distinct downtrend there. So the Russell 2000 still with a ton of work to do to get out of this downtrend, but looking a little bit better there. So something you may want to pay attention to there. All right, sector-wise, some of the things looking good here. You've got transports. Right, so transports stuck in the middle of a whole bunch of technical resistance, of course price resistance as well, but transports did quite well today, largely in part to the rails. Right? If you follow like Norfolk Southern, that's NSC is the symbol if you want to take a look at that. Norfolk Southern adds 2% today, breaks out to new highs. Union Pacific and Kansas City Southern, if you want to follow those, up over 1%. So if you're following transports today and you just happen to want to dig a little deeper, you go, what's the deal? Yes, it was a broad-based rally, but those rails really kicked in and sort of helped there. Taking a look at gold. Gold sold off here today. Big gap down, big pressure on gold futures. Dollar stronger today. I believe the dollar made new highs on the trade news. Nope, almost. So the dollar just almost back to new highs there, strengthening little by little. That's hurting the price of gold here, at least in the short term. And gold mining stocks, you could use GDX if you want to follow the gold miners, pull back in the midst of these uptrends here. And interestingly, something that the 50-day moving average has followed a lot with the price of gold. We're back down below the 50-day, so something getting a little attention. Utilities, XLU is the symbol I'll use to track that, continues to pull back, right? From yesterday, it started pulling back. Today, with rates sort of stabilizing, people go, I don't know, should I have a bunch of utilities here? And it started to pull back. From a technical and fundamental perspective, the utilities are overbought. If you compare the forward price to earnings ratio on the utilities relative to the S&P, it is overbought. It is expensive relative to the S&P. And this kind of goes into the topic of the video that we had posted today about market cap weighted versus equal weight. Not that being the topic, but the concept of, well, when you have an expensive area, right? Does it make more sense to just buy the index fund, or does it make sense to break down to the individual sectors? Maybe pay a touch more, but get better performance. In this case, utilities are much more expensive than just going ahead and buying an index, you know, maybe like an S&P index fund or something like that, whether it's equal weight or market cap weighted. And so know that we did this a while back to mention how utilities being fundamentally overpriced at the moment, it does lead to a pullback. So this sector, and I'm going to cover it tonight in the class, what are the analysts thinking? Do the analysts know about this as well? We're going to show you what their current upgrades and downgrades look like in the utility space there. What else? Not a whole lot else to report, right? Oil with a small change on the day. Yesterday's big pullback there continues to be in an uptrend. And I'll point out the banks. The banks got a chance to get a little breathing room today. You had your large banks higher, and then the regional banks. They really got the attention today that they kind of been waiting for. That bounce off the lows, adding over 1 1/3% today. So hopefully that's helpful for you there as well. All right, individual stocks, and then we'll wrap it up. Lululemon, so huge gap higher for Lulu, up almost 15% on the day, breaking the new highs. They just did no wrong. They beat on earnings by a mile. Here's the chart if you want to take a look at it. They beat on earnings by a mile, 9 cents to be exact. Beat on revenue. The company's buying back 500 million shares. Remember, Congress is trying to stop this right now. They don't want people doing share buybacks. So a lot of these companies, you notice how I've been saying buyback, buyback, buyback? All these companies, they're not stupid. They've got their lobbyists there, and they know that this is coming down the pipeline, so they're all in a rush to buy back shares. That could be adding a little bit of support here overall in the broad-based markets as well. I don't know. Not something I personally track, but maybe we should. PVH Core. So, you know Tommy Hilfiger, right? These are these guys, right? PVH owns clothing brands, apparel brands, and Tommy Hilfiger being one of them. And Tommy Hilfiger, by the way, being one of the reasons they beat on earnings so well. 15% gain on the day. They beat on earnings by 8 cents. Revenue was better than expected. And the company also said going forward for the full year 2019, we expect better things to come. So better than analysts were expecting. Five Below, another retailer, had a great day. So you can imagine retail stocks did well today. Yes. Five Below up 8%. This is the store you go to where everything is $5 or less, but most things seem to be closer to $5 that probably shouldn't be worth $5. Just saying. I mean, they're running a great business, obviously. Beat on earnings, beat on revenue. Only negative was they didn't give as favorable as an outlook going forward. So if you happen to be just interested in that company, know that they're not so excited about everything going forward. With that in mind, you got retail higher by 0.5% on the day. So as a whole, retail stocks were higher, and retail stocks making new highs today. Nope, there were none. Let me, sorry, not new highs. Retail stocks that perform well today. Let's sort real quick and see what we can find out here. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. So a lot of retail stocks had great days today. Don't actually have the best data for that to give you at the moment, but a very, very strong sector on the day. So that's what I have for Five Below. After hours here, Wells Fargo is going to be higher. I don't have the aftermarket data on this chart. Wells Fargo higher. The CEO stepping down. They have an interim CEO. They're going to search for a new one. It's, you know, it's probably for the best, right? You know what they've been through, right? And by the way, on this channel, I don't badmouth anybody except Wells Fargo, and possibly USAA is next, just as a heads up for what's going on with them. But Wells Fargo getting a new CEO, he is retiring, but you know he's just been beaten up, man. He's got to go. Unfortunately, he's just got to go, and that may start to change the tide here for Wells Fargo. I hope so. Office Depot. They're paying a whole $35 million to the FTC. Their support.com service apparently was tricking people into buying computer repair services with misleading malware claims on their computers. Not good, man. That's not good. Busted. Monster Beverage down just a little bit today. Credit Suisse called them their top pick. So out of all the stocks they could have chose, they looked at Monster Beverage and said, that's our top pick going forward. And basically all on valuation. They like valuation here. Johnson & Johnson winning at least one case out of the 13,000 total cases, lawsuits that they're going through. They were cleared of liability in New Jersey. I'm not sure if that means that the rest of those New Jersey lawsuits will sort of wipe away. I doubt it. But they're working their way through them, man. And Movado, these guys make watches, overpriced watches, 22% higher on the day, getting above the 200-day moving average. Earnings better than expected, well better than expected. Revenue also much better than expected. And here's the thing, a lot of these companies talking about profit margins, being able to raise profit margins, General Mills being another one, and people are just willing to pay it. So ask yourself that, right? I was going to do a video for tomorrow about possibility of a recession. How can it be a possibility of a recession if companies are raising prices and the consumer just pays it, right? They're willing to, they're able to, they're paying it, and you can't use debt because they're paying their debts too. So maybe something we'll cover here for tomorrow's video on that. Sorry for the issues here today. So if it jumped out on you, that doesn't normally happen. Hey, tonight, join us for our class, of course. We'll be talking about the analysts. We'll cover all of that as well. And we'll see how that goes. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, I will wrap it up and get out of your way. Yeah. If you're contributing to a Roth IRA, thanks, man. I appreciate that. You have until April 15th. Now, you have up until April 15th to get the money to hit your account. Don't go scheduling a deposit on the April 15th. It's not going to work. David can't make wine and wealth tonight. Oh, man, it's canceled. We're just going to cancel it. Nice. Richard says he's got a 401k account where his company puts his contribution. Would we be able to manage the account because you have a Roth IRA? So the way that works is if we're managing your Roth IRA, traditional IRA, any accounts that we physically manage for you, I 100% will help you on any other accounts that you need help with. Most of the time being 401ks, workplace plans, things like that. So absolutely, if you're thinking about giving us a shot with your Roth IRA, everything is included in that. No games or strings attached. Question, tax question. You just finished your first year of owning stocks in Robinhood. Nice, nice. I hope it went well for you. Your questions about K1s, oh boy. They came pre-filled out. They do come pre-filled out, actually. They always come pre-filled out. You do need to report them. Don't leave them off. If you have an individual account, which you do with Robinhood there, you absolutely have to put them on there. It may be that it's not as significant enough to make any difference, and based on that amount, it may tell you, oh, we don't need that. But since I don't know what those amounts are, I'm just going to safely say you need to report those. Do not let those go into the trash or anything like that. Careful. Okay, yeah, REITs. Oh my gosh, REITs, incredible, on fire category of the markets, still doing well today. You would expect REITs to continue to find the bid given that there's no real interest rate issues coming up. And so it's just nothing but a strong uptrend. It's not an uptrend you want to fight, if that helps you out there. Yeah. Booking Holdings. Stuck in a range, right? So if you're following Booking Holdings, this is very similar to some of the other times we've talked about this where traders are waiting for one or the other to happen. Stock's trading sideways, and they're waiting for it to either break under those lows or start to break above the highs. Till that happens, you just can't expect any significant move there. Nonetheless, until that happens, you actually don't need to do anything, right? If you own the stock, you're like, oh, please don't break the lows. If you are thinking of buying the stock, no one is ever going to suggest you buy the stock while it's not giving you any real trend of any kind. See, there's a difference. If you're saying, I'm a kind of guy that likes to buy a stock in an uptrend, you find stocks in an uptrend, you pick your moment in time, you give it the shot to play with the momentum. You could also be the person that says, I'm the kind of guy that likes to buy stocks that are on sale. I like to buy when they fall. And if that's the case, then as stocks are falling, you pick your moment in time and you get in. No one ever says, I'm the kind of guy that likes to buy a stock that's doing nothing. It's just moving sideways, no clear direction, nothing exciting there. And so that's probably the easiest answer I can give you. Greg says, I'm about to leave my job and I have a 401k. What should you do with it? Greg, if your new job has a 401k there, you may just move it right over to the 401k. If you're like, look, I don't like the sort of strings that are attached with a 401k. I'd like to have it in my own control. I'm not saying this to sway you to use us at Jazz Wealth, but just in general, no, you can move it into an IRA and choose any investments that you like. So you have those two choices. You actually have a third choice, which is to just pull the money out. Don't do that, or you're going to owe taxes on everything that you pull out. So you either roll it over to the new 401k. If you don't have one available to you at the new job, or you're not going to have a job for a while, move it into an IRA. Make sure it gets invested right away. No need to let it sit there and get stale. You got it. There you go. Greg says, I'm leaving my job, man. Nice. Cool. Class tonight, you got your email. I'm sorry, I sent out 2 emails. The first email, YouTube is changing stuff and the link didn't work. I'm so sorry. But the class tonight, the link is in the second email that was just sent out. You just click that link and come in and join us, and we'll take care of it. All right, last question. Brock says, I've been watching and checking out the videos last couple months. I love it. Thanks for watching. Been super informative and helpful. Thanks for all the great work. That's not a question, but I'll sure take the compliment. I love it. You know, sometimes you have those days where you're just like, I wish somebody would tell us we're doing a good job. I'm just kidding. Hey, that's all I have for you here today. Sorry about the issues there again. You have a great rest of your day or evening, wherever you're at. We'll be back tomorrow to do this all over again. See you then.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.